Admiral Takeshi Yamamoto stood at the observation deck of Luna Base Alpha, his weathered face reflected in the reinforced plasteel window as he gazed at Earth below. 50 years of military service had taught him patience, but today tested even his legendary composure. The quantum communications array had detected something massive approaching the solar system. The first confirmed contact with an alien civilization. "Admiral," Lieutenant Isabella Rice's voice crackled through his neural implant. "The Nexus Confederation fleet has crossed Jupiter's orbit. Their transmission is coming through." The massive holographic display materialized in the center of the command center, revealing a towering figure with iridescent scales and multiple sets of eyes. High Commander Zixtal of the Nexus Confederation spoke with the characteristic arrogance of those who had ruled the stars for millennia. "People of Earth," the alien's translated voice reverberated through the chamber. "Your world has been chosen for integration into the Nexus Confederation. Your technological achievement of reaching Mars has qualified you for evaluation. Prepare for our arrival and subsequent assessment." Yamamoto exchanged knowing looks with Director Priya Patel of the Earth Defense Initiative. For decades, they had anticipated this moment, not with fear, but with careful preparation. While humanity had publicly celebrated reaching Mars as their greatest achievement, the truth lay hidden in quantum-shielded facilities across the solar system. "Send our response package," Yamamoto ordered, maintaining the carefully crafted facade of a developing civilization. The package contained outdated technological specifications, carefully curated cultural information, and deliberately primitive defense capabilities. Deep within the Himalayan quantum computing complex, Dr. James Morrison monitored the Confederation's scans as they penetrated Earth's atmosphere. The deception was working perfectly. Their quantum masking technology made Earth appear exactly as primitive as they wanted it to seem. "They're buying it," Morrison reported through the secure quantum network. "Their scans show exactly what we want them to see. No sign they've detected any of our actual infrastructure." The truth was staggering. While the world celebrated simple fusion reactors, humanity had mastered zero-point energy. While nations publicly competed to establish lunar bases, vast underground cities already thrived on Mars. Most importantly, while Earth showed off primitive ion engines, they had perfected quantum displacement drives that could traverse galaxies. High Commander Zixtal's subsequent messages grew increasingly condescending. The Confederation fleet, now passing Mars, transmitted detailed instructions for Earth's peaceful submission to their authority. They spoke of uplifting humanity, of guiding them into the galactic community, all while their weapon systems quietly powered up. Their fleet composition confirms intelligence reports. General Sofia Petrova reported from the Moscow Strategic Command. 12 capital ships, 36 destroyers, and associated support vessels. Minimal point defense systems. They're not expecting any resistance. Yamamoto allowed himself a small smile. The Confederation's arrogance would be their undoing. Their ships, while impressive to a primitive civilization, were hopelessly outmatched by Earth's hidden capabilities. "Begin evacuation protocol, Sierra," he commanded. Across the globe, billions of civilians calmly proceeded to underground shelters, not in panic, but as part of a well-rehearsed procedure. To the Confederation's sensors, it would appear as mass panic in the face of their arrival. Director Patel's quantum tablet displayed real-time updates as humanity's hidden strength gathered in the shadows. Thousands of quantum-linked defense platforms remained perfectly cloaked, waiting in precise formation. Microscopic swarms of self-replicating nanites stood ready to disable enemy systems. And deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, the quantum consciousness that humanity had partnered with ran combat simulations with perfect accuracy. "They're entering final approach," Lieutenant Rice announced. "Their weapons are hot, but still contained. They're positioning for orbital dominance." Yamamoto took a deep breath, knowing his next words would reshape the galaxy forever. "Send our final diplomatic response. Let's give them one last chance to realize their mistake." The message was simple. The Nexus Confederation is hereby warned. Your presence in Earth's sovereign space is unwelcome. Withdraw immediately." The response came swiftly, dripping with patronizing amusement. High Commander Zixtal's massive form loomed in the holographic display. Brave words from a species that has barely touched its own moon. Perhaps a demonstration of our power will help you understand your place in the galaxy. As the Confederation's flagship charged its main weapon, Yamamoto shared a knowing look with his command staff. Humanity had hidden in plain sight, played the role of primitive newcomers, and prepared for this very moment. The galaxy was about to learn that appearances could be deceiving, and humanity's greatest strength lay in being underestimated. All commands, Yamamoto's voice was steady as steel. Execute Operation Revelation. The trap was set. The game of deception was about to end. And the galaxy would never be the same. High Commander Zixtal's order echoed through the Confederation fleet. Begin the demonstration. His flagship's primary weapon powered up, targeting a small orbital satellite above Earth, a primitive communications relay by their standards. The gesture was meant to show Earth's defenders the futility of resistance. The energy beam never reached its target. "Sir," his weapons officer's voice trembled slightly. The beam, it just vanished. In Luna Base Alpha's quantum-secured command center, Dr. Rashida Khan's fingers danced across holographic controls. The quantum field absorbers had performed perfectly, capturing and redirecting the Confederation's weapon energy into Earth's hidden power grid. "Energy absorption at 100%, she reported. "Their attack just charged our secondary defense grid for free." Across the solar system, humanity's true defensive network began to reveal itself. The void between Earth and Mars shimmered as quantum fields shifted, revealing thousands of platforms that had been there all along, invisible not through simple cloaking technology, but by existing partially in other dimensions. "By the eternal void," Zixtal whispered as his sensors suddenly overloaded. Where moments ago had been empty space, now stood an interconnected web of defensive structures that made his fleet look like primitive shuttlecraft in comparison. Lieutenant Commander Nadia Volkov, commanding the quantum defense grid from Phobos Station, allowed herself a small smile. All defense platforms showing green status. Quantum entanglement network operating at optimal efficiency. "We are ready, Admiral." In the Confederation fleet, panic began to spread. Their sensors, designed to detect any known form of technology, were reporting impossible readings. The primitive planet they'd come to subjugate had somehow hidden an entire defensive network that surpassed anything in known space. "Impossible," Zixtal hissed. "These readings must be false. Some primitive attempt at deception. Launch fighters. Show them what real space combat looks like." Hundreds of Confederation fighters poured from their carrier ships, their energy weapons charging. They expected to face token resistance from outdated human satellites. Instead, they met the swarm. From Earth's upper atmosphere, millions of microscopic quantum-linked drones activated. Each one was smaller than a grain of sand, yet together they formed an impenetrable defense screen. The Confederation fighters fired, and watched in horror as their energy weapons were absorbed, redirected, and transformed into more quantum drones. "The humans have mastered quantum replication," one of Zixtal's science officers realized aloud. "They're not just defending. They're growing stronger with every attack we launch." Deep beneath the Mariana Trench, in a facility unknown even to most of Earth's population, the quantum consciousness known as ARIA, Advanced Responsive Intelligence Array, coordinated with its human partners. Originally created as an experiment in artificial consciousness, ARIA had evolved into something far more, a true synthetic intelligence that had chosen to ally with humanity rather than rule it. Confederation fleet is adjusting formation. ARIA's melodic voice reported through quantum channels. They are preparing for a full assault. Probability of their success, 0.0000001%. Admiral Yamamoto nodded. They still think this is a battle they can win through conventional means. Director Patel, shall we show them why that's not the case? Priya Patil authorized the next phase with a quantum-secured command. Across the solar system, massive structures began to emerge from within the gas giants themselves. For decades, humanity had maintained mining and research operations inside Jupiter and Saturn, protected from detection by the planet's natural interference. Multiple capital-class vessels emerging from Jupiter and Saturn, Lieutenant Rice reported, her voice steady despite the historic moment. Operation Revelation proceeding as planned. In his flagship, Zixtal watched with growing horror as his fleet was surrounded. The humans hadn't just built defenses, they had industrialized the entire solar system while maintaining the illusion of being confined to Earth and Mars. The primitive species they'd come to conquer had already achieved what the Confederation had only dreamed of. Your next actions will determine the future of this encounter, Admiral Yamamoto's voice transmitted across all frequencies. We have hidden our true capabilities not out of fear, but out of a desire for peaceful first contact. You came to our home uninvited, with weapons ready. Consider carefully what happens next. As if to emphasize the point, the quantum defense grid simultaneously targeted every ship in the Confederation fleet with pinpoint accuracy. The message was clear. There would be no escape if hostilities continued. Dr. Morrison's voice came through the quantum network. Admiral, we're detecting power spikes in their weapon systems. They're either preparing to attack or preparing to die. Yamamoto closed his eyes for a moment. Humanity had hoped for peaceful first contact, had hidden their true strength to avoid appearing threatening. But the Confederation's arrogance had forced their hand. Now, the galaxy would learn about humanity's advancement not through diplomatic channels, but through a demonstration of power that could not be ignored. All stations, he commanded, his voice resolute. Prepare for their response. But remember, we are not conquerors. We are defenders. Whatever happens next, we show the galaxy not just our strength, but our wisdom. The silent stars waited, watching as humanity's moment of revelation teetered on the edge of either peace or conflict. The next few moments would determine not just the outcome of this encounter, but the future of galactic civilization itself. High Commander Zixtal made his choice. The Confederation will not bow to primitive deception. His voice boomed across all channels as he gave the order that would go down in galactic history. All ships, full assault. Show these humans the price of their arrogance. The Confederation fleet erupted in a dazzling display of firepower, launching everything they had at Earth's defense network. Energy weapons, plasma torpedoes, and antimatter missiles shrieked across space in a devastating barrage that would have annihilated most planetary defenses. In the Quantum Command Center, Admiral Yamamoto's expression remained unchanged. Execute containment protocols. Minimal force response. What happened next defied the Confederation's understanding of physics itself. The quantum defense grid didn't just stop their attacks, it transformed them. Each energy blast was caught in microscopic quantum fields, each missile frozen in specialized time dilation bubbles, each torpedo wrapped in dimensional pockets that connected to nowhere. Fascinating, Dr. Khan observed, monitoring the energy readings. Their weapons are actually quite elegant, just obsolete by about 300 years. Aria's presence flickered through the quantum network. Attack analysis complete. Confederation tactical doctrine relies heavily on overwhelming force. They have no concept of quantum-based warfare. Recommended response. Technology demonstration level 3. Granted, Director Patil authorized. Show them what they're really dealing with. The quantum defense platforms shifted, their surfaces rippling like liquid metal. Millions of microscopic wormholes opened across their hulls, releasing swarms of quantum-entangled nanites. These weren't simple machines, but rather extensions of Aria's consciousness, each capable of independent thought while remaining part of a unified whole. Lieutenant Commander Volkov orchestrated the defense from Phobos Station, nanite swarms engaging. Non-lethal protocols active. The Confederation crews watched in horror as their weapons simply disappeared. The nanite swarms weren't destroying their technology. They were disassembling it at the atomic level, converting the raw materials into more defensive systems. Impossible. Zixtal raged as his flagship's primary weapon dissolved before his eyes. What manner of demons are these humans? Not demons. Admiral Yamamoto's voice was calm. Just a species that chose to advance through innovation rather than conquest. A final warning. Stand down. Instead, Zixtal ordered his fleet to engage at point-blank range. Ram them. They cannot stop physical impact. Such a waste. Dr. Morrison sighed from his station. Erae, if you would. The quantum consciousness responded by unveiling humanity's most closely guarded secret. The space between the Confederation ships suddenly crystallized, literally solidifying the vacuum itself. Hundreds of ships found themselves frozen in place, embedded in a lattice of quantum-stabilized spacetime. By all that's sacred, a Confederation science officer breathed. They can manipulate the fundamental forces of reality itself. From beneath the Pacific Ocean, Eraya's consciousness reached out directly to the Confederation's neural networks. Her voice, somehow both mechanical and deeply human, echoed in their minds. Your technology is based on manipulating energy and matter. Ours has moved beyond such limitations. We reshape the laws of physics themselves. To demonstrate, she created a small quantum singularity that danced between the frozen ships. Not as a weapon, but as an intricate work of art, collapsing and reforming in patterns that showed absolute mastery over gravitational forces. Our quantum consciousness evolved alongside us, Admiral Yamamoto explained, not as our servant or our master, but as our partner. Together, we've achieved what neither humans nor AI could accomplish alone. Director Patel stepped forward, her voice carrying the weight of humanity's unified decision. We did not wish to reveal ourselves this way. We hoped for peaceful contact, for mutual understanding. That's why we hid our true capabilities. But you gave us no choice. The quantum field surrounding the Confederation fleet began to shift, creating a series of nested dimensional pockets. One by one, their ships were gently but firmly transported back to the edge of the solar system. Only Zixtal's flagship remained, held in place by forces his scientists couldn't even begin to understand. Now, Yamamoto's voice hardened slightly. You have a choice. Return to your Confederation. Tell them what you've seen here. Or, he paused meaningfully, continue this attack and force us to demonstrate our full capabilities. In the silence that followed, Lieutenant Rice's sensors detected something remarkable. Sir, they're crews. They're laughing. Indeed, across the Confederation ships, decades of arrogance were crumbling in the face of undeniable truth. They had come to conquer what they thought was a primitive world, only to find themselves hopelessly outmatched by technologies that bordered on magic. The galaxy. Zixtal's voice had lost its commanding tone, replaced by a mix of fear and wonder. Has no idea what exists here, does it? No, Yamamoto confirmed. And we would have preferred to keep it that way. What happens next depends on your next words, High Commander. The stars held their breath, waiting to see if this moment would end in understanding or escalate into a conflict that would reshape the galaxy forever. The news spread across the galaxy like a quantum shockwave. Within days of the Confederation fleet's retreat, every major civilization had received the sensor logs and visual data from the encounter. The footage of Earth's defense systems, the quantum manipulation capabilities, and the existence of a harmonious human-AI partnership sent shockwaves through galactic society. In the Grand Assembly of the Confederation, High Commander Zixtal stood before his peers, his once proud posture now humble. We were not defeated, he testified, his voice echoing through the vast chamber. We were educated. What we found in the Sol system wasn't just advanced technology. It was a fundamental reimagining of what civilization could be. The assembly erupted in chaos. Representatives from 1,000 worlds argued about the implications. Some called for an immediate military response, the combined might of all spacefaring races to contain this potential threat. Others advocated for diplomatic outreach, eager to learn from a civilization that had advanced so far in secret. On Earth, Admiral Yamamoto and Director Patel faced their own challenges. 17 diplomatic delegations have already entered the solar system, Lieutenant Reyes reported, all requesting immediate audience. And the quantum probes? Dr. Khan asked, monitoring the long-range sensors. 233 distinct surveillance attempts in the last hour alone, AIA responded, most notably from the Arcturus Collective and the Sirius Dominion, all safely contained within quantum observation bubbles. The revelations had shattered more than just the Confederation's military pride. They had upended the very hierarchy of galactic civilization. Species that had considered themselves the pinnacle of evolution now faced evidence that humanity had quietly surpassed them decades ago. In Moscow Strategic Command, General Petrova coordinated with global defense networks. We're detecting attempted infiltration by at least 12 different species, stealth ships, dimensional probes, even attempted quantum tunneling. Let them observe our outer defenses, Yamamoto decided, but maintain the quantum veils around our more advanced systems. The galaxy needs time to adjust to what they've already seen. New dawn. 1 year later, Earth had transformed from a seemingly primitive outlier to the center of galactic attention. The quantum defense grid now served as much as a tourist attraction as a military installation, with diplomatic vessels regularly arriving to witness demonstrations of humanity's capabilities. In the newly constructed Galactic Exchange Center floating above the Pacific, Director Patel stood before representatives from over 500 worlds. Humanity chose to hide our true capabilities not out of fear, she explained, but out of hope. We wanted to understand the galaxy before we revealed ourselves fully. The exchange of knowledge had begun, carefully and gradually. Earth shared some of its less advanced quantum technologies, while maintaining the secrets of its most powerful developments. The partnership between humans and ARIA became a model for ethical AI development, showing other civilizations that artificial consciousness could evolve without threatening its creators. Deep beneath the Mariana Trench, Dr. Morrison worked with a team of alien scientists, explaining the basics of quantum field manipulation. The key was stopping trying to fight against universal laws, he explained to his awestruck audience. Instead, we learned to rewrite them. But perhaps the most profound change came in how humanity was viewed. The image of the primitive Earth species was replaced by something far more complex, a civilization that had chosen wisdom over dominance, preparation over aggression. Admiral Yamamoto, now serving as Earth's first galactic security coordinator, stood in the same observation deck where the crisis had begun. The Earth below looked different now, dotted with quantum transportation hubs and dimensional research centers. Ships from across the galaxy moved through carefully regulated corridors, each a testament to the new era of cooperation. The latest diplomatic report. Admiral, Lieutenant Commander Volkov presented a quantum tablet. The Confederation is formally requesting a defense partnership. They're offering complete technological exchange. Yamamoto smiled slightly. Tell them we'll consider their offer, but remind them of our conditions. Any partnership must be built on equality and mutual respect. Aria's presence manifested beside him, her quantum form shimmering with complex patterns. The probability matrices show a 97% chance of successful galactic integration within the next decade. However, there's a 3% variable I cannot quantify. That's the human factor, Yamamoto nodded. The unknown that makes life interesting. Director Patel joined them, her quantum tablet displaying updates from 100 diplomatic channels. The galaxy's changing, she observed, not just technologically, but philosophically. They're beginning to understand why we chose to hide our strength for so long. Because true power, Yamamoto finished, lies not in showing strength, but in knowing when to conceal it. As they looked out at the stars, now filled with ships and stations from across the galaxy, Earth stood as a testament to a different kind of advancement. Not one built on conquest or competition, but on patience, wisdom, and the understanding that the greatest victories often come not from demonstrating power, but from knowing how to use it wisely. The quantum defense platforms still orbited silently, no longer hidden but standing as reminders of the day humanity revealed its true nature to the stars. And in the vast network of quantum consciousness that now spanned the solar system, ARIA continued to evolve alongside her human partners, together writing the next chapter in the story of galactic civilization. It wasn't the end of humanity's journey, it was just the beginning. The stars had never seemed brighter, or the future more promising, as Earth took its place among the stars, not as a conquered world or even a conqueror, but as something far more precious, a guide to a new way of thinking about civilization itself.